I just wanted to pop in here really quick. This is not going to be a lengthy live. Um, and give my opinion on the Diddy split verdict. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here. And just to give you guys a quick update on where I've been and why I haven't been going live. As some of you know, I had started doing a real estate class back in February. I started the class and it ended in March. And I didn't pass the class the first time. But I re-enrolled in May. What was it? May, I think it was May 15th or something like that. I can't remember the date. But when y'all come in, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like and subscribe. But yeah, I started back taking the class back in May, and the last day was June 25th. And guess what? I passed my end of course exam. And so now I can move to the next level, which is go ahead and take my state and national portion of the exam so that I can become a licensed real estate agent. So that's what I've been doing. I've been really focused on that for over a month. When I tell you guys, I studied my booty off. I studied my ass off for that test. So I'm going to get back into studying really soon so that I can be prepared to take the state and national portion. And yeah, that's where I've been. So that's why I haven't been over here going live with you guys or anything like that. Y'all hit the like button. Hit the like. Because I'm going to state my opinion on this whole Diddy split verdict and how I feel about the whole situation. And some of you might agree with me. Some of you might not agree with me. But guess what? That is the reason why we all have an opinion. It's for some people to agree or some people to disagree, right? And those that disagree, it's fine because guess what? Like I said, we all have our own opinions about different situations. And I know some people feel really strongly about this whole Diddy um, case and trial or whatever the case may be. So, I did write some notes. I wrote some notes down because I didn't want to forget my talking points of what I wanted to say about the whole situation. But let me start out by first saying that I'm not a Diddy fan. Okay, I'm not a Diddy supporter or anything like that, but I did follow the case very, very closely. I watched commentary on the case from different content creators, mainly Amron Wiggins. I watched him the most. And he recently got into some really bad situation. He recently got into a bad situation only because he was outside of the court building dancing around with oil, saying more oil, more oil. And I understand why the mainstream media was a little outraged by it because of the simple fact that it did seem insensitive to those people who were victims of these crimes that Diddy's allegedly or supposedly inflicted on them. So I get it. But at the same time, people like myself who watched him on a nightly basis, because I watched him every single night. He was the one that I watched the most. I caught like little snippets of other content creators, but Armand Wiggins was the one that I watched the most. And I watched him the most because for me, he was entertaining. He made it he made it interesting to watch and fun. I mean, some of y'all might not agree with his style of delivering the message, but it is what it is. We all are different. We like different things. None of us are the same. So again, it is what it is, right? So again, y'all thumbs up this video when y'all come in. Please thumbs up the video. So like I was saying, I'm not a Diddy fan. I'm not a Diddy supporter. Do I like his music? Did I dance to his music and play his music and listen to his music back in the 90s? Absolutely, because it was good music. But I've never been that person that's like, oh, Diddy, 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 or, bad boys, this and bad boy. I was never that person. But for some reason, I was drawn to wanting to listen to the details of this case. And I've never really honestly sat and watched and listened to details of a trial like I did with this one. And it was a lot of interesting details that came about in this case. To me, it came off as if it was a case about the way that he abused Cassie. And that's not what the case was about. It wasn't about the abuse that he inflicted on Cassie. And don't get me wrong, what he did to Cassie and whoever else as far as physical abuse, absolutely wrong. Like, I don't support that at all. I don't support any of that. I think that was really, really 100,000% fucked up the way that he did Cassie. Um, and any other woman that he may have abused physically for that matter. um, in the trial, we learned that the lady who was um, calling herself Jane Doe, throughout their relationship, he didn't hit her or put his hands on her until she put her hands on him. And the one time that he put his hands on her, she actually, like I said, she put her hands on him. And the one time the time when she put her hands on her, it was after she found out about Cassie suing Diddy for $20 million. And it with the way that that was delivered, it almost seemed as if she deliberately put her hands on him so that she could provoke him to retaliate so that she can use that against him. That's the way it was put out there to the masses. That's the way it was put out there. But I want to get into, like I told you, I wrote some notes down so I won't forget um, what I want to talk about, my talking points. So the first thing I want to talk about is the charges that were brought against Diddy. And those charges were um, racketeering. And racketeering includes sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, and drug distribution. Now, um, from the time that I had started watching the details and from the time I started watching the details of the trial about and when they started talking about the whole sex trafficking and stuff like that, the racketeering charges, I personally didn't see how they had a RICO. As I was watching, I'm like, but where's the RICO? I never ever saw a RICO, right? So a RICO, like I said, which is the racketeering, it involves the sex trafficking. I don't want to keep using the word SEX. I don't know how YouTube is going to um, feel about me saying the word, so I'm gonna use other words instead. Even though I already said it, but I'm not going to keep saying it. So in terms of the sex trafficking, when I think of sex trafficking, I think of people taking people against their will to engage in sexual activities against their will. That's so when they first started this investigation and they first indicted him and they named the charges that they was going to be brought against him. That's what I was expecting to hear, things like that within this trial. I promise you that's what I was thinking. I was not expecting to hear that P. Diddy and his girlfriends at the time, which is which was Cassie and the other young lady, Jane Doe, saying that they were setting up freak offs. Never did I think that throughout this trial there would be text messages with these ladies actually setting these freak offs up themselves as well. Like there was testimony where the young lady, Jane Doe, allegedly she's supposedly 50 Cent's baby mother, but there were she in her testimony she testified that she actually well the defense attorney basically when they cross-examined her they were able to get it out of her that she set up basically a freak off where Diddy wasn't even there. It was with another high profile rapper and his girlfriend and some other people were there. And she was at this freak off dancing around without a shirt on, with her breasts out, just dancing and having a good time. So that was one situation that occurred. It was also situations where she was literally texting Diddy, and they've read all these text messages. These text messages were messages of her basically asking him when was the next freak off going to be. Same thing with Cassie. The same thing with Cassie. So, and yes, they would go to different cities and states and stuff like that to do these freaky deaky things. But they wasn't sex trafficked. I really want y'all to leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me. I said the word again. I said I wasn't going to say it again. Tell me, in your opinion, when you hear of someone being sex trafficked, what comes to your mind? What do you think is happening? Do you think that there are willing participants going to interact in these sexual acts? Also, what I heard was another thing that constitutes being sex trafficked is if a guy or a female fly one or the other out to their city and they engage in sexual activities, that's sex trafficking. This is what I'm hearing throughout this trial. Like, these are the things that I'm hearing that people are saying that constitutes that to be a thing. Who would have thunk it? Mm, 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 mm. Forced labor, racketeering also comes with forced labor. Throughout this trial, His assistants, people that worked for him, none of them were forced to work for him. In fact, he fired them, a few of them, a couple of them, whatever, and they were begging for their job back. Where's the forced labor? Make it make sense. One of his assistants testified that basically after she was fired, I think it was Capricorn something. I can't remember her name. But thumbs up the video, y'all. Thumbs the video up. One of them testified that she basically wanted her job back because she was used to a certain lifestyle and she wanted that lifestyle back. Where's the forced labor? Mm-mm. They would have been better off trying him for abuse. Racketeering? Come on now. Come on. Mm. I never saw it. I never saw it. Okay. Racketeering also includes kidnapping. So during the trial, they were alluding to him kidnapping Cassie based on that video that came out in 2024 with him beating her ass. Because in that video, not only was he beating on her or whatever, but he was like dragging her and dragging her towards back towards the hotel room. But I had seen an extended version of that video. And don't get me wrong, again, that was really fucked up the way he did Cassie. Like I would never condone anything like that. Like I said, if anything, they should have indicted him for, or charges being brought against him would be abuse. Um, but I had seen like an extended version of that video, and in that video, I saw like Cassie, um, she was getting up and walking back towards the room and stuff like that. So it, like, somebody that's being kidnapped is not walking back towards a hotel room, are they? Make it make sense. None of it makes sense to me. Mm. Um. Oh, the other thing about the kidnapping, one of his assistants, she testified that, so apparently there was some jewelry missing, and Diddy thought that she stole the jewelry. Um, one of his bodyguards or something like that took her to a building in Manhattan and gave her a lie detector test. Now, apparently, she, from what I remember, it was supposedly for a week straight. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong with the detail because it's been a minute since I've watched this footage. But from what I can remember, it was supposedly 8 hours that she was being questioned with a lie detector test for 8 hours a day. I want to say it was for a week. That was supposed to be kidnapping. Who gets kidnapped every day? Who gets kidnapped every day? You get kidnapped, but you let go every day, and you keep coming back. Wait. Yo, to me, all that trial did was expose Diddy's freaky side, his controlling side, his manipulating side. It exposed a lot of negative things about Diddy. I'm not gonna lie, it exposed a lot of things about him that make you look at him like, whoa. But racketeering? No, no. When I think of racketeering, I think of like the mob, big crime bosses out just like terrorizing communities and other people, other businesses, shaking people down and putting bodies in the river and digging up dirt and putting bodies in the dirt. And that's what I think of when I hear racketeering. Not a man buying bottles and bottles of baby oil, hiring male escorts to go to a hotel or wherever they're going to basically fulfill his sexual desires and his freaky escapades. That's not what I think of when I think of that. Now, did he make these women feel like they had to do it in most instances or some instances? I think so. I think he did. I think that he was a manipulator. I think that he was abusive. Well, we all know he was abusive because we seen that with our own two eyes. I think that he was controlling. I think that he's a narcissist. I think all of those things. But they could not prove a RICO. Where's the RICO? Anyway, the last point that involves that racketeering entails is drug distribution. Where was the drug distribution? They were all getting high together. They were all getting high together. It never came out during the trial that he put drugs in any one of anybody's drinks or secretly drugged them. Yeah, he gave it to them, but they took it. Hmm. None of the people that was on that witness stand for the prosecution testified that they were forced to do drugs. I didn't hear anyone say they were forced to do drugs. Not one person. Not one person. Um, so racketeering, 2 counts of sex trafficking, smex trafficking was the other charges that they had against him. These were, and the 2 counts were in reference to Cassie and Jane Doe. He didn't get charged with those. He was found not guilty for the RICO and the 2 counts of smex trafficking. Which I understand why, because again, when we think of smex trafficking, we're not thinking about people who are willingly getting on a plane and going to a hotel so that they can engage in freaky, oiled up schmecks. Are we? When y'all think of smex trafficking, please tell me what y'all think of. Because I know for me, like I said earlier in this video, when I think of smex trafficking, I think of people being forced to go someplace against their will, and they're being sold to be prostitutes or something like that. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I ain't thinking about me being with my mate and my mate is paying someone to perform these sexual activities with me while he watch, and then we go and we have our fun. I'm not thinking that that's what it is. Am I bugging? It's weird. So what he did get charged with is the transportation to engage in prostitution, which I do understand, because at the end of the day, there were male escorts who were paid, excuse me, to engage in prostitution. And unfortunately, in this country, prostitution is illegal. We're not in Canada where it's not illegal. All right. So, mm, mm, I definitely think that Diddy needs some serious therapy. Um, he needs to be in a drug rehab probably for the rest of his life. Cassie also testified that the only time that he used to be abusive like that was when he was high or drunk. And, not to give him any excuses, but just imagine if you're already a high, strong person, and then when you're high and inebriated, it's going to heighten that. You're going to be even more aggressive and controlling and all of the things, right? One of his friends was questioned by I can't remember which content creator it was that interviewed him. I think it was Armand. As a matter of fact, I think Armand had interviewed him, and he was just basically saying, like, he had reiterated the fact that Cassie had said that on the stand, saying, the fact that the times when he was abusive is when he was high or inebriated. And he said whenever somebody was on the stand saying the things that he's done to them, he was looking back at them and was like, I did that? This man don't even remember half the shit he did. That's just crazy. Like, when I think about that industry and the people that has as much money as he does, in my mind, I'm just thinking like they got like so much money and they have so many opportunities and they have so many what's the word I'm looking for? They got so many options of things that they can do whatever they want to do. Like, it's almost like they get to a point where life gets boring. So it's like, okay, what next? I done did this. I could do whatever I want, whenever I want. What next? So let's just get high and do a lot of drugs. Let's be drunk all the time. Like, they can just do whatever they want. Anyway, more of the story. I'm not surprised that the verdict came out the way that it came out. I'm not surprised because, as I said, the whole time I was watching all the different footage on the case, I just kept saying to myself, "Well, where's the RICO? Where's the sex trafficking?" I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it at all. So I'm glad that the jury come to the decision that they came to, and now we just got to see how much time the judge is going to give him for the transportation for prostitution. I heard that that charge can hold up to 10 years, and that is for both Cassie and Jane Doe. So he could be facing up to 20 years in prison for that, or he can get time served. There's a lot of different things that I'm hearing that can happen with that. All I know is that it holds up to 10 years imprisonment. It's just up to the judge now what the judge decides that he want to do with this with his decision. what his decision is going to be. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Let me see what y'all seeing in the comment section. I've seen some of y'all saying some crazy stuff on here. Hey, Latricia. I see Jan. How you doing? Annoying, what? Annoyingly centrist. How you doing? I look like a famous actress. What you said? My stepdad got me. Yeah. You know what? Maybe let me see if I can get this comment off of here. I'm gonna remove this comment because that is crazy. I'm gonna come cut the straps off your shirt. I'm trying to. All right, I'm gonna move this comment. These people are crazy. All right, Latricia, long time don't see. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta get up at 5:30 in the morning. I just wanted to pop in here really quick and give my opinion on this whole Diddy case. Um, if you get to watch this video after it's posted, leave me a comment with your opinion on it. If you agree with what I'm saying, good. If you disagree, good. It's okay. We're different people. We got different outlooks on things, and that's okay. It's okay for us to disagree on a topic. With that being said, I want to thank you all for watching, and y'all have a good night. But remember, hair is your glory. Peace.